Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 357 based on novel. So let's start. Shortly after Wang Lin released the thunder tattoo, the popping sounds of the thunder moving across the mountains echoed, and the roars of the 100,000 cultivators sealed there became even weaker. It was as if they had been completely sealed and no more sound could come out. The thunder tattoo imprinted on the mountains gave off a ghostly light and a faint heaven's might. After a long time, ripples appeared in the sky above the mountains and a person walked out. He was a middle-aged man wearing green, and the moment he appeared, his pupils shrank. He wasn't looking at the mountains, but at the sky. It just appeared before. Void Gate. This is the aura of the Void Gate, it can't be wrong. The middle-aged man looked very gloomy as he gazed at the sky like he was looking for something. The Void Gate hasn't been opened, otherwise, my original body would have noticed. A cultivator that can make the Void Gate appear. Interesting, no wonder the Sovereign Council would be so generous as to take out a rank 5 Dao spirit. The middle-aged man was Master Simo's avatar. He wasn't in a rush before. He had made his way here slowly and didn't care too much about the capture. However, now, everything changed and he became more serious. After withdrawing his gaze, Master Simo looked at the mountain below him and his pupils shrank again. He took a deep breath and stared at the thunder tattoo imprinted on the mountains. His expression became even more serious. He is a thunder cultivator. He is trying to become a third step cultivator as a thunder cultivator. Throughout the ages, thunder cultivators have had the most difficult time reaching the third step. Thunder is a power of the heavens, and even in the Scatter Thunder clan, only one person has ever reached the third step. He also stopped at the early stage of Nirvana Void, but if he went crazy and summoned heavenly thunder, even mid-stage Nirvana Void cultivators would have a headache dealing him with. No wonder he wanted to destroy the Scatter Thunder clan. His purpose must have been the eternal thunderbolt in the Scatter Thunder clan. After devouring the eternal thunderbolt, he triggered the appearance of the Void Gate. Master Simo's expression was gloomy and he roughly guessed what had happened. What is even more terrifying is that even after he tried to break the Void Gate, he had the power to fuse the thunder with the mountains to seal 100,000 cultivators. This kind of feat can't be accomplished by someone ordinary. He must have planned this all along. Only someone who is extremely calm and calculating can do this. Master Simo took a deep breath and a mysterious light shined in his eyes. He gained a strong interest in Wang Lin. Hunting an ancient god already made me excited, and now I can hunt a cultivator like this. Good. Master Simo laughed and didn't even help the 100,000 cultivators below before he turned around to leave. However, just as he turned, he suddenly trembled and turned back around. He carefully looked at the void where the Void Gate had appeared. Something's not right. For the first time, horror and disbelief appeared on his face, along with doubt and shock. There is none. There is no aura of Joss flames. Master Simo paused for a moment and waved his right hand. The wind howled and filled the world, forming a giant image. This image clearly showed Wang Lin charging at the Void Gate 3 times and how he sealed the 100,000 cultivators. Staring at this dumbfoundedly, Master Simo's face immediately turned pale. He didn't use any Joss flames. There isn't even a trace of Joss flames on him. He actually didn't rely on Joss flames but caused the Void Gate to appear only by the completion of his essence. This is unheard of. And he actually opened the Void Gate by a sliver. How is this possible? No one can complete their essence without the use of Joss flames. No one can trigger the Void Gate without the use of Joss flames. Master Simo gradually hid the terror in his eyes and replaced it with calm and peace. He then took a step forward and moved at a speed several times faster than when he came, anxiously pursuing Wang Lin through the trail Wang Lin had left. At the moment Wang Lin's thunder essence reached completion and summoned the Void Gate, in the Blue Silk clan, Dao Master Blue Dream's hands over the zither suddenly trembled. He raised his head, waved his sleeves, and charged out of the room. Li Qianmai was sitting on a chair and looking at her father, but she didn't say a word. However, the confusion in her eyes was gone and was replaced with clarity. It seemed she had remembered a lot. She then gently stood up and walked out. The moment Tao Master Blue Dream walked out from the room, he waved his right hand. Endless, blue light filled the sky and rapidly condensed into moving pictures. The pictures contained Wang Lin's 3 attempts to break the void gate. Tao Master Blue Dream stared at the pictures and carefully examined them. His expression gradually became more solemn, and in the end he was filled with shock. This was a very rare expression to appear on Tao Master Blue Dream's face. Your father underestimated a person. This is the first time I've been wrong. After a long time, Tao Master Blue Dream let out a sigh, and disbelief still remained in his eyes. You will continue to be wrong. No one can see through his future. Even if you're one of the 5 masters of the ancient star system, you still can't. Li Qianmai looked at the man attempting to break the void gate in the pictures and smiled gently. Are you blaming your father? Tao Master Blue Dream looked at his own daughter with a complicated expression. Li Qianmai shook her head and softly said, I haven't recovered all of my memories, just a bit. If I had really forgotten him, then it would have been best we never meet again. However, since I remember some, I won't let it go. When my memory is restored, I'll go find him. The woman that had divined Wang Lin's position was cultivating on the island at the center of the lake when Wang Lin triggered the void gate. The many flowers and plants all withered and quickly collapsed. The lake around the island became violent, forming a vortex around the island. The woman's eyes suddenly opened, revealing a mysterious and shocking light. The first is the sign flowers withering. The second sign is the lake turning to a vortex. The third sign is thunder descending. The fourth sign is the sea of fire. The fifth sign is the island splitting. The sixth sign is the ancestral remains shattering. As the woman spoke, the sky rumbled and a bolt of thunder descended on the hill of the island. It was heaven shaking. This caused the expression of the woman in black to change greatly. The ancestor passed down 9 signs, and now 3 of them have appeared. There was a star domain in the ancient star system with many cultivation planets. More than 1,000 planets filled this vast star domain. This was a very famous place in the ancient star system called the Fallen Land. A total of 372 small clans lived in this dense area, and it was extremely chaotic. Due to the chaos, traitors of large clans or those that had provoked powerful enemies would gather here. Then more and more people gradually gathered here until it formed a force that can't be underestimated. Normally, the Sovereign Council wouldn't allow such a place to exist, and because it harbored a large amount of traitors, it was hated by many clans. However, over the countless, very few people dared to attack this place. About 20,000 years ago, a large clan was hunting a traitor. When they saw the traitor enter this place, they didn't stop but charged in. However, the moment they entered, a gust of wind blew by. The nearly 1,000 cultivators from the large clan immediately died. This was just one of the rumors. Another was that one of the 5 masters, Devil Master 9 Heavens, once secretly came here. However, he was forced to retreat with serious injuries and had set an oath to never take half a step into the Fallen Land. There was another rumor. It stated that millions of years ago, someone stole something from the Sovereign Council but escaped here. Even the Sovereign Council was unexpectedly afraid, and after setting a 100-year agreement, they retreated. These various things made the Fallen Land mysterious, and few people knew its secrets. However, in turn, large amounts of cultivators sought refuge here for various reasons. This Fallen Land gradually became very lively and became the largest trading hub in the ancient star system. Various treasures were traded here. At this moment, Wang Lin was sitting inside a cave on a planet without much spiritual energy in the Fallen Land. This cave took up a portion of a mountain, and he was the only one inside. Wang Lin had long decided to enter the Fallen Land. He naturally knew of this place after devouring the memories of so many ancient star system cultivators. Now that he was being hunted by the ancient star system order, this was a relatively safe place. After all, the Sovereign Council didn't control this place, so the order couldn't be passed here. Even though this place wasn't completely safe, the same could be said about the other places in the ancient star system. Out there, he would continue to be hunted, And, eventually, even third-step cultivators would make their move. As a result, there was no difference where he went. The fallen land only took pills and treasures, the stranger the better. Even large amounts of origin crystals were sold. Wang Lin had traded some pills in exchange for 100 years of residence in this cave. Wang Lin had been cultivating here for the past several days and had devoured pills to help his injuries recover. As for his physical injuries, due to the toughness of his ancient god body, he had almost recovered. On this day, while his eyes were closed, his expression changed and he slowly opened his eyes. A figure appeared at the entrance of the cave and quickly entered. "Master, I have returned. Pills cost the most here, far more than treasures. There is also a type of puppet here. Although it's not strong, it's very popular. One only needs to imprint their divine sense on it to be able to control it at will." Zhong Big Red was very excited as he spoke. When Wang Lin arrived here, he had let Zhong Big Red out and sent him to gather some information. Zhong Big Red was from the ancient star system, so it wouldn't be suspicious for him to go out. "Also, I found nothing about the ancient star system order, so Master can rest assured." After releasing Zhong Big Red, Wang Lin had used a spell to check his heart. After all, Wang Lin had destroyed the Scatter Thunder clan, and he wasn't sure what ideas Zhong Big Red might have. However, what Wang Lin found strange was that Zhong Big Red unexpectedly had almost no feelings toward the Scatter Thunder clan. From his view, the clan had never helped him, and because of the Thunder Crystal, he had to constantly offer tribute. In his early years, he had relied on himself to rise to his current cultivation level, and he saw how vicious the people in the clan were to each other, so he felt no sense of loyalty. Therefore, after learning he could grow stronger by following Wang Lin, he chose to leave the Scatter Thunder clan without hesitation. Although the Scatter Thunder clan was destroyed, there were a lot of people who had left the clan over the countless years and lived elsewhere. It wouldn't be a surprise for people of the Scatter Thunder clan to appear in the fallen land. Wang Lin softly asked, "Puppet?" Zhong Big Red became spirited and quickly said, "Master, this puppet is very expensive here and is made from unknown materials. It can display the power of a normal cultivator and even has divine sense. It is wondrous." Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged. He was interested in the puppet. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin slowly asked, "Is there any news on the Fire Sparrow clan?" "There aren't many Fire Sparrow clan members here, and I didn't encounter any on this planet. However, after gathering some information, they are mostly gathered on a fire attribute planet nearby. As for the specifics, this little one isn't too familiar, but I should get a clear idea soon." Zhong Big Red patted his chest as he spoke. Wang Lin's eyes shined an indiscernible amount. Although his thunder essence was complete, the accompanying thunders were still a bit flawed. However, he was confident in fixing this. The reason he was still in the ancient star system was for his fire essence. In order to complete his fire essence and awaken the vermilion bird again, he needed to absorb a large amount of fire. The Fire Sparrow clan was Wang Lin's first choice, and he wouldn't easily let them go. However, he wouldn't get lucky with the Fire Sparrow clan like he did with the Scatter Thunder clan and receive help breaking through all the obstacles. It also wasn't realistic to blend into the Fire Sparrow clan to approach the core of the clan. Wang Lin originally planned to do this, but he was now being hunted by the entire ancient star system. It was very likely that before he could get into the core of the Fire Sparrow clan, the people hunting him would arrive. Although this was the case, Wang Lin did think of a strange method. If he succeed, he could completely devour the fire from the Fire Sparrow clan. "Zhong Big Red, take my pills and buy a puppet." Wang Lin pondered a bit before waving his right hand, causing 3 pills to appear. A burst of fragrance filled the cave. Zhong Big Red stared at the pills and swallowed hard before respectfully receiving them. Holding the pills, Zhong Big Red revealed a flattering smile and whispered, "Master, there are also cultivation furnaces being sold, should this little one." Wang Lin frowned, causing Zhong Big Red to shut up and quickly leave. After leaving the cave, Zhong Big Red's clothes became covered in sweat. Although following Wang Lin was a big opportunity, that frown had terrified Zhong Big Red. "When I was in Master's storage space, that Shu Ligua was too vicious. He constantly bullied me because his cultivation level is higher. I'll remember this. Once my cultivation level increases, I'll definitely get my revenge. As long as I properly serve master, that day won't be far away. Zhong Big Red held the pills and flew off into the distance. He had been here for several days. Relying on his invincible art and his clever nature, he had made friends with quite a few of the lower rank cultivators. Soon, he arrived outside a valley and clasped his hands. Big brother Zhong, little brother Zhong is here to visit. This valley was very quiet and was filled with thorn plants. At a glance, it was desolate and filled with yin energy. There were also scattered animal bones on the ground that formed a formation. There was a cave in the inner part of the valley. There was no door to the cave, but a black fog covered the entrance, making it impossible to see inside. After Zhong Big Red spoke, a strange laugh came from the cave and the black fog shot into the sky. At the same time, a skinny old man wearing a black robe walked out from the cave. This old man's hair was a mess and his body was like a bag of bones. His eyes were bloodshot and he looked extremely scary. The skinny old man floated next to Zhong Big Red and said, "So it's little brother Zhong. You said earlier that you had to return to your master. I didn't expect you to return so fast." Zhong Big Red's expression remained neutral and he smiled. He waved his right hand and took out one of the 3 pills Wang Lin had given him. He flicked one directly toward the skinny old man. The old man's eyes suddenly narrowed and he took a closer look. His expression immediately changed and ecstasy filled his eyes. "This is a high-quality pill. It is extremely suitable for my cultivation and extremely hard to find. Little brother Zhong, this." Zhong Big Red laughed and clasped his hands. "No harm, this kind of pill is useless to master. Little brother sees that big brother has been at the mid-stage of soul formation for a long time, and I presume you need the pill. Just accept it." The skinny old man took a deep breath and was no longer polite as he quickly put the pills away. He looked at Zhong Big Red and whispered, "Little brother Zhong, your master's cultivation level, could it?" The old man hesitated a bit before saying, "Could he be at the yin and yang stage?" Zhong Big Red expected this person to talk about his master, so his expression immediately turned respectful and he whispered, "My master's cultivation is heaven-piercing and even I don't know the exact cultivation level. However, I've seen master kill Nirvana Scryer cultivators with one blow." The skinny old man sucked in a breath of cold air, and he didn't dare to try to find out if this was the truth or a lie. It didn't matter if it was true or not, someone who could casually take out pills like this was not someone he could provoke. Little brother Zhong is fortunate to follow such a master. Your cultivation will definitely soar in the future. Don't forget your big brother then. The skinny old man's eyes were filled with envy as he clasped his hands. Zhong Big Red clasped his hands and laughed. "Naturally. In fact, I came out this time to ask big brother Zhong for help. Little brother can ask. As long as I can do it, I'll help." He had met Zhong Big Red several days ago. This person was obviously very rich, and the pills Zhong Big Red had made his eyes red. He wanted to steal from him, but he was cautious. After gathering some information, he had learned that Zhong Big Red had a master. Someone who could make a soul formation cultivator his servant was not someone he could fight, so he had suppressed his greed. Zhong Big Red was also good at flattering and gave out a lot of pills. Just like this, the two gradually became acquainted, with their own agendas in mind. Originally, this old man was still suspicious, but seeing how Zhong Big Red's master could casually hand out pills like this, he felt Zhong Big Red's master had become a lot more mysterious. Earlier, Big brother Zhong mentioned the puppet and little brother went back to tell master. "My master is interested in buying a puppet." Big brother Zhong knows little brother is new and unfamiliar with this place. "I hope big brother Zhong can help me on this, and once this matter is done, they will definitely thank you." Zhong Big Red's eyes lit up and he smiled as he looked at the skinny old man. After the old man heard this, he hesitated and whispered, "Brother Zhong, this puppet is not easy to buy. If we were on the main planet, it'd be easy, but here, the Dark Scorpion clan controls the trade on puppets. They are extremely domineering, and the price is several times higher. Are you sure you want to buy?" Seeing Zhong Big Red nodding, the skinny old man pondered for a bit before clenching his teeth. "Okay then, I'll take you there once. After he spoke, he led the way and they charged off into the distance. There was a ruined city on the western area of the planet. It looked to be in disrepair, with the walls broken in many places, but it was extremely lively. A large amount of cultivators moved about there. The skinny old man was obviously very familiar with this place. He led Zhong Big Red to a relatively complete building, and they carefully walked inside. The hall was at the center of the city, but very few cultivators were here. It was as if the cultivators dreaded the hall and didn't dare to casually enter, they would often go around it. Zhong Big Red and the old man's figures were seen by many people. A lot of them secretly shook their heads. The moment they entered the hall, Zhong Big Red's body trembled as he felt cold energy come from all directions. He couldn't withstand it at all with his cultivation, so it immediately entered his body. It was as if a big hammer had slammed down on his heart, and he immediately coughed out a mouthful of blood. The old man was a bit better, but his face was pale. He quickly kneeled on the ground and said, "Juniors have no ill intent, we just want to buy a puppet." The hall was very large and there was a statue in the center. This statue was dark, and it was a statue of a scorpion. It had its tail raised and gave off a chilling aura. The cold energy that made Zhong Big Red cough out blood came from this scorpion. Want to buy puppet? What can two little soul formation cultivators like you have to buy puppets? A cold voice echoed as a person walked out from the back of the hall. This person wore black and looked around 40 years old. He had a gloomy expression and a look of contempt in his eyes. There was a ferocious scorpion mark between his eyebrows. This scorpion was lifelike and looked almost alive. The tail unexpectedly swayed and gave off a demonic feeling. Zhong Big Red took a deep breath and quickly bowed. He took out the pill Wang Lin had given him and respectfully said, "Junior wishes to use this pill to trade for a puppet." The middle-aged man's expression remained the same and his right hand reached out. The pill flew into his hand. He casually looked at it. However, his eyes immediately changed and he completely ignored Zhong Big Red and the old man. He quickly sniffed the pill, then his divine sense spread out and his pupils shrank. "It's actually a soul pill." The middle-aged man's gaze fell on Zhong Big Red, then he slowly said, "How many more do you have?" Zhong Big Red bitterly smiled and said, "There is only one." As he spoke, he didn't even wait for the other to ask and took it out himself. Holding the two pills, the middle-aged man was still sizing Zhong Big Red up. After a long time, he withdrew his gaze. He believed that the person in front of him must have gotten very lucky. These pills were rare, and two were already a lot. After nodding, the middle-aged man waved his hand. His clan mark shined and a puppet that looked exactly like a real person appeared before them. There was no clan mark between the puppet's eyebrows, and it had a dull expression. There was no intelligence and no vitality, only a gloomy aura. Its cultivation level was about early-stage soul formation. These two pills can only exchange for this puppet. The two of you can scram. The middle-aged man turned around and quickly walked into the depths of the hall. It wasn't until he left that Zhong Big Red and the old man looked at each other. They both saw the fear in each other's eyes. Zhong Big Red felt regret. He didn't think that just trading for a puppet would result in them encountering a life-and-death crisis. He quickly collected the puppet and left with the skinny old man. As for the middle-aged man, after entering the temple, he took a step and sunk into the ground. There was another world hidden underground. There was tower hidden underground, and the hall was merely the top. This was the second floor, and it also had a scorpion statue, but there was a young man sitting on top of it. As the young man was cultivating, he seemed to be absorbing power from the statue. When the middle-aged man arrived, he opened his eyes. "Young master, earlier, two soul formation cultivators brought these two pills." The middle-aged man quickly handed over the pills. The aloof young man picked them up, and after looking at them, he slowly said, "Soul pills. The rank is ordinary, but the soul is not bad. No need to make such a fuss. As for the two little cultivators, capture one and injure the other. Leave a divine sense mark and see where he goes. Don't bother me with such trifle matter in the future." The young man closed his eyes and no longer paid attention to this. The middle-aged man bowed and then disappeared. Zhong Big Red and the skinny old man quickly left the city. In the sky, the old man wryly smiled and said, "Little brother Zhong, the Dark Scorpion clan is extremely domineering, and no one on this planet dares to provoke them. We were lucky to be able to trade for the puppet." If the old man didn't get to finish speaking before his pupils shrank and he looked ahead. Zhong Big Red trembled and his scalp felt numb. He didn't hesitate to charge forward and escape. There was a cold snort, and shortly after, 2 rays of black light shot out. One of them shot toward the old man. He wasn't able to resist at all and was immediately captured. The other ray of black light instantly caught up to Zhong Big Red and landed on his back. His face immediately turned black and he coughed out blood as he escaped like crazy. The middle-aged man from the Dark Scorpion clan appeared and coldly looked at where Zhong Big Red disappeared to. He turned around and grabbed the unconscious old man before returning to the Dark Scorpion clan's main hall. Zhong Big Red's face was extremely pale. The life and death situation he had just faced had taught that this place was far more dangerous than the Scatter Thunder clan. The pills attracted too much attention, alas. I handled this wrong. Not only did I hurt fellow cultivator Zhong, but I almost caused a calamity. Zhong Big Red flew at top speed toward Wang Lin's cave. Cultivation. If I had a higher cultivation level, a cultivation level like Shuligwa's, this would not have turned out like this. I, Zhong Big Red, must become strong. Zhong Big Red clenched his teeth, filled with determination. A hour later, Wang Lin's cave appeared before him. After landing on the mountain, Zhong Big Red revealed a bitter expression and walked toward the entrance. He coughed out another mouthful of blood when he landed. Wang Lin was cultivating and opened his eyes the moment Zhong Big Red walked in. His eyes shined like bright lights as he looked at Zhong Big Red. Wang Lin slowly asked, "Where's the puppet?" Zhong Big Red's face was pale and he silently waved his hand. The puppet appeared. Wang Lin's right hand reached out and the puppet flew toward him before stopping before him. Wang Lin carefully looked at it, and his eyes revealed a strange light. This thing. A moment later, Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and put the puppet away. Then he casually asked, "How did you get injured?" Zhong Big Red pondered for a long time and then softly told him everything that had happened. In the end, he saw Wang Lin's expression become more gloomy, and he bitterly said, "Master, I was reckless on this matter. If I had controlled the information better, this wouldn't have happened. At least I got the puppet and completed Master's order. As for my injury, I will be able to recover after going into closed-door cultivation for a period of time." He saw that Wang Lin didn't speak, and when Wang Lin's expression became even more gloomy, his heart trembled. He whispered, "Master escaped to the fallen land to escape pursuit. This little one can endure." Before he finished speaking, he heard Wang Lin let out a cold snort and his face turned even more pale. What a poisonous method. No matter how much time you spend in closed-door cultivation, you can't easily recover. That person broke the trajectory of the cultivation in your body and also left a divine sense imprint. Zhong Big Red's body trembled and he clenched his fists. However, he quickly loosened his fists and silently pondered. "You're my subordinate. You can endure it, but I can't." Wang Lin got up and walked toward the exit. Zhong Big Red suddenly looked up and stared at Wang Lin. His eyes couldn't help but turn red, and he whispered, "Master." Wang Lin didn't turn around but coldly said, "Lead the way." Zhong Big Red took a deep breath and killing intent appeared in his eyes. Without hesitation, he led Wang Lin toward the city. Wang Lin thought that he was too slow and grabbed him. They moved like lightning and caused thunderous rumbles as they charged toward the city. All the cultivators on the cultivation planet felt a tremble in their souls. The sky changed colors, the earth trembled, and the clouds scattered. In only a moment, Wang Lin had brought Zhong Big Red to the broken city. He loosened his hand and allowed Zhong Big Red to float beside him. Zhong Big Red was excited as he pointed at the city and whispered, "Master, the Dark Scorpion clan is there." Wang Lin's eyes glowed like torches as he looked at the city below him. "This city will be destroyed in 3 breaths. People not related, quickly leave." His voice was like thunder descending on the city. The sound created a blast that caused the city below to tremble and kick up a large amount of dust. The expressions of the cultivators in the city all changed greatly, and some even coughed out blood. Then they frantically escaped the city. Inside the main hall, the middle-aged man was sitting there while the old man named Zhong was filled with fear, begging for mercy. Just as he was about to continue, Wang Lin's voice echoed. The middle-aged man's eyes suddenly opened in shock and he coughed out blood. He immediately stood up. Not only him, but all the Dark Scorpion clan cultivators cultivating in the tower opened their eyes and stood up in shock. Even the young man in the second floor trembled and his face turned pale. The voice had penetrated the earth and landed directly here, shaking the tower. 3 breaths of time passed by in an instant and Wang Lin's right hand pressed down. Thunderous rumbles echoed as endless thunder gathered from all directions, forming a giant thunder net. It descended on the city as Wang Lin's hand pressed down. The endless thunder created a scene that shocked the hearts of all the cultivators escaping from the city. With a thunderous bang, the earth trembled violently and the thunder net fell. The entire city collapsed, even the tower collapsed, and the entire city became a ruin. Countless cracks more than 1,000 feet deep appeared. This caused the tower hidden under the earth to reveal more than half of itself. The top of the tower had already collapsed, and the old man named Zhong was looking at the sky. He saw Zhong Big Red and his mind trembled. He is Zhong Big Red's master. The middle-aged man next to the old man named Zhong was gobsmacked. This was so sudden, he didn't even have time to react. Wang Lin slowly descended and floated where the collapsed roof was. Zhong Big Red followed Wang Lin with excitement in his eyes. Wang Lin pointed at the middle-aged man and looked at Zhong Big Red. Was it him who hurt you? Zhong Big Red stared viciously at the middle-aged man and nodded. He pressed his hand against his chest and gnashed his teeth. That's right, it was definitely him. The middle-aged man's face immediately turned pale and he didn't hesitate to retreat. His hands formed a seal and the scorpion between his eyebrows began to move as if it was alive and gave off a demonic glow. However, just at this instant, Wang Lin calmly raised his hand and pointed. With one point of his finger, the world changed colors, clouds scattered, and endless rumbles echoed. Endless clouds suddenly appeared in the sky. When Wang Lin's finger landed, the thunder in the sky rumbled. A bolt of thunder as thick as a thumb descended at an unimaginable speed. The middle-aged man trembled and the bolt of thunder struck his head. A destructive storm rushed into his body from his forehead. Popping sounds echoed inside his body as his flesh and blood shattered, his bones fragmented, and his origin soul was destroyed. After the thunder passed, the middle-aged man seemed to have evaporated. All traces of him had disappeared as if he had never appeared before. After the thunder passed, the surroundings were deathly silent. The cultivators that had escaped the city were filled with intense fear. They looked at Wang Lin with terror in their eyes. With a raise of his hand, Wang Lin had caused the clouds to gather and thunder to descend to instantly kill an illusory yin cultivator. This spell was enough to shake the minds of all the cultivators here. The old man named Zhong was completely pale and had even stopped breathing. He was in a daze and his face revealed unimaginable horror. Even Zhong Big Red was shaken. Even though he had seen Wang Lin's power back in the Scatter Thunder clan, seeing it again here, he felt Wang Lin's infinite might once more. Wang Lin's expression hadn't changed at all, even thought he was being hunted and was hiding in the fallen land. If it was anyone else, they would want to avoid everything and wouldn't casually act. However, Wang Lin's cultivation was heaven-shaking, and he had experienced too much danger in his life. He had walked on the line between life and death too many times. So what if his pursuers found him? Even if it would attract powerful enemies, he wouldn't just ignore his servant being injured. Just like what he said before, even if Zhong Big Red could endure it, he couldn't. There were few people in this world who could force him to endure. Wang Lin was not like his weak self from the past. He was now a powerhouse and had the heart of a powerhouse. Even tigers could be bullied by dogs when they left their mountain, and dragons could be forced to back down by shrimps. But in truth, it was because the tigers and dragons were willing. If they weren't, who would dare to provoke them? This matter wasn't over with just killing the middle-aged man. Since he had decided to act, he was going to destroy all threats. Wang Lin's right foot stomped the ground. Dumbfoundedly at what was happening below. They saw Wang Lin sink down and arrive at the second floor when the floor shattered. Just as he descended, a fierce aura filled with killing intent appeared. There was a roar and a ghostly light shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained neutral. The moment the ghostly light closed in, his right hand casually reached out. A giant hand appeared and caught the ghostly light. No matter how much it struggled, it couldn't break free. The ghostly light flashed violently in the hand that had appeared, revealing a purple bead. It flashed violently and even more intense light came from it. Dark scorpion bead, collapse. A roar echoed and a destructive aura came from the rotating bead. Just as it was about to explode, Wang Lin's right hand mercilessly squeezed. With a bang, the bead shattered, releasing the destructive power inside, destroying this floor of the tower. The young master retreated from the dust with a pale face, but he stared straight ahead with eyes filled with shock. This bead is a bit interesting. Wang Lin's indifferent voice came out from the dust. His uninjuried figure slowly walked out. The moment he appeared, the youth revealed a look of disbelief. His scalp was numb and he was almost scared out of his wits. He was extremely clear on the power of that dark scorpion bead. The explosion was enough to seriously injure a Nirvana Scryer cultivator, but this person was able to casually withstand it with a simple squeeze without suffering any injuries. Just thinking about this made the youth tremble. He was terrified and was about to escape when Wang Lin waved his right hand. An electric net appeared and surrounded the youth. It immediately shrank, and the youth's scream followed. He lost all power to resist, as if he was sealed, and floated in the air. Without even looking at the youth, Wang Lin stomped the ground once more, dropping down to the next floor. Just as he entered, he waved his sleeves and caused a sea of fire to appear. Two old men charged out at him from below. The fire immediately caused the two of them to cough out blood, and the fire entered their bodies. The fire formed a seal and they floated into the air. They are indeed like scorpions that like to move about in the dark underground, still not willing to appear even with all this. Wang Lin calmly walked into the next floor. Just like this, Wang Lin continued down floor by floor. Mournful screams echoed as more Dark Scorpion clan members were sealed and thrown into the air. There were now dozens of them. Your Excellency has gone too far. Just as Wang Lin continued down, a roar suddenly came from the depths of the tower. At the same time, a powerful force came from underground and charged toward Wang Lin, who was in middle floor of the tower. This storm rose through the tower floor by floor. More power gathered with each floor it passed, and in the blink of an eye, it broke through the floor Wang Lin was on. This storm appeared clearly before Wang Lin's eyes. Inside was a black scorpion almost 100 feet large. This scorpion was formed by a spell, and it charged at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He didn't retreat, and his hand formed a fist. The ancient god power in his body condensed like crazy and then he threw a punch at the incoming scorpion. The moment his punch flew out, an ancient god silhouette appeared behind him and also threw a punch that immediately collided with the scorpion. Thunderous rumbles echoed like crazy, creating an indescribable shockwave that scattered in all directions. The sky changed colors and the earth rumbled. The entire planet shook violently and large amounts of dust were kicked into the air. There was a thunderous bang, causing the exposed part of the tower to tremble and countless cracks to appear on it. The impact caused the entire exposed part of the tower to collapse into countless fragments that scattered in all directions. Even the part hidden underground suddenly collapsed and set off a huge shockwave underground. It was as if earth dragons were moving underground as mighty waves were set off. When the tower collapsed, dozens of cultivators were forced out from inside. Their faces were all pale and they coughed out blood as they looked at Wang Lin with intense fear in their eyes. The surrounding cultivators watching all anxiously retreated. They were completely shocked by what had happened. It was something they had never seen before in their lives. At the center of the collapsed tower, Wang Lin's clothes flapped as the wind blew on him. His hair flowed in the wind, but his body didn't move. He withdrew his right hand and calmly looked down as he coldly said, "You hurt my servant and now you're saying I'm going too far? You all are too weak." There was a giant skull more than 10,000 feet large. It was originally hidden by the tower above it, but now that it was gone, everything below was clearly revealed before him. Deep within the skull was an old man sitting on some broken stones. He wore a black robe with a scorpion embroidery. This scorpion was a bit strange. It had a total of 9 tails. There was also a scorpion mark between his eyebrows, but compared to the one on his robe, it was inferior. His clan mark only had 4 tails. These 4 scorpion tails hung down, covering his face and making him look terrifying. However, at this moment, his face was pale and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He suddenly looked up and his eyes revealed a ferocious light before charging at Wang Lin. Although my Dark Scorpion clan is only a small clan, it is one of the 372 clans recognized by the Fallen Land. If you act against me today, you will make an enemy out of the entire Fallen Land. If that happens, the Emperor of the Fallen Land definitely won't spare you. A mere second Heaven's Blight cultivator dares to speak like this before me? Wang Lin's expression was calm and his gaze was like lightning as he looked at the old man. Thunder flashed in his right eye and the world immediately trembled. The old man's expression changed greatly. In his eyes, the other person had disappeared and was replaced by a bolt of thunder. This bolt of thunder descended from the sky and penetrated his eyes, directly entering his mind. This video will end here.